Okay, Mimi. What is so unique about me? I don't even know where to start. So I don't know.
We can always cut and paste, so
Really?
just start talking, we'll piece it all together.
Really?
I'm filming, go ahead.
Okay, there.
Repeat what you said about uniqueness.
I cannot because that's in the middle.
Okay, from the top, dear. What's the
Okay.
top?
From the top? Okay, my name is Maria Riley. First off the chart. I'm a non-traditional student. And it's quite funny how I have always wanted to go back to grad school, but life got its hold on me and I never got around to it until the opportunity arrived very recently. I started last year working for the clerkship at the Department of Neurology of U of L, and I worked with medical students. It has opened my eyes to a whole new world within the university, and I think that was what led me to pursue a career in higher education. I've always wanted to get a graduate degree, but I was never sure of which direction I was going until very recently. I worked 1 year for JCPS as an assistant. They did not recognize my bachelor's degree. And I was just very lucky to be able to get a job because we moved here from Hawaii 8 years ago, and JCPS was my first full-time job. I worked there for 1 year. First with kindergarteners and then with first graders. And it did shape my life. It taught me that there are a lot of needy children out there, and education is essential if they want to break free of poverty and to be successful in life. For me, I was very privileged because my mother has always taught us about the importance and value of education. And I want to be able to encourage and promote higher education whenever I can. I am very interested in either being an advisor for high school kids that are seeking to pursue higher education or involved in student life in college. I think it's something I really enjoy doing because I enjoy meeting people and making friends. And I can speak fluent Portuguese. I lived in Lisbon for 2 years. I can understand French and German because I lived in Switzerland for 2 years. I can read and write Chinese and speak Cantonese and Mandarin. And of course I speak English. I can understand Italian, some of it. I've lived and I've traveled internationally since I was very young. I almost feel I have Viking blood in me. And I actually have Swedish friends that have traveled also quite a bit, and he was my pen pal. Then I went to Sweden to visit him while I was living in Switzerland. So I had a lot of stories to tell, but that will come later. I'm sure it will come out. I enjoy being with my family. I enjoy my children. I enjoy volunteering. And I also enjoy making little baby booties in my free time. And these are given to moms, expectant moms that have decided not to go for an abortion.
Can you hold up the bag?
Here you go. And I donate it to, it's called the Little Way in downtown Louisville.
Would you say that's a 1 week supply there that you've been knitting, or a 1 day supply you knitted?
I did this over the Christmas break when we had the 2 weeks off.
So that's a 2 week.
2 week supply of little booties. I think I made 30 pairs of booties, and I'm going to donate them. So
So you do this like 25 times a year, you get 25 of these bags ready?
I don't know how much, I don't keep track of it, but I enjoy doing it because it is something I'm passionate about. And I'm passionate about quite a lot of things. So I'd like to talk a little bit about how I got my undergrad, how I got involved in that. In my culture, boys are regarded more of a socially, and they have a socially higher status than girls. And growing up, I always believed that boys grow up to get a career and girls grow up to get married and raise kids. And basically, that's what most of my classmates ended up doing in high school. My mother always taught us the importance of an education, but somehow she never supported my plans to go to college. We were not rich ever because my dad died when I was 14, so we were very frugal with everything. After high school, I decided that I would get a job and help my mom raise my siblings. And later on, my brothers all went to college, and my sisters all went to work.
Would you say your job was an education in itself?
I think what my dad taught us was true, that life teaches us something new every single day, and we learn until we die. Just living is learning. That's what I believe.
As I understand your career, you started out as a bank teller and you moved on to be
I
a...
have a very diverse career. I landed the bank job because it was my mom's bank, and she found out that they were hiring, and I was just fresh out of high school at 17. So I worked there, and then my family moved to Portugal for 2 years because my mom had to go there to do some training in university in Lisbon. So I spoke fluent Portuguese as a result of that. And from there, I took 1 year off to go to take an Associate of Arts degree in hotel management. And that's where I learned my German and my French.
How old were you then?
About 20, 21.
Hmm.
It was a great experience. I had an opportunity to go to work for Disneyland right after I graduated from my Associate of Arts degree. But my mom said no, I had to go home. So I did. And then I went to work for a Japanese hotel in my hometown. And then I moved on to work for the government as administrative assistant for over 10 years. It wasn't until Hawaii Pacific University came to my hometown to recruit students that I realized that my dream to go back to college and pursue a bachelor's degree was only buried. It was not dead. I really wanted to pursue that. Even though all my obligations were satisfied, my family did not want me to leave the nest.
So, at what age did you finally fly over to Hawaii Pacific University?
I was 33 years old because I had to battle my family. I was very persistent but determined. I wasn't going to let it happen. I wasn't going to let others determine my life. I wanted to take hold and do something I've been wanting to do for so long. And everybody had one chance to do what they want to do in life. That was mine.
Now, you did have to make a final compromise. You had an offer to go to Australia or Hawaii. So, what was the deal about choosing Hawaii?
My mom chose that for me because she preferred Hawaii as a visit place that she could visit and spend holidays versus going to boring Australia.
So this was part of the deal. To rationalize letting you leave the nest, you're going to stake out Hawaii so she can
That
vacation.
is my mom's way of compromising. So she picked for me. That's why I didn't end up in Australia. Part of it too. Hawaii Pacific University was actually more expensive than going to Australia in the end. Mainly because it
No, that's just my phone. Sorry.
it's a tourist spot, and cost of living was higher than going to Australia. But anyways, they did recognize my Associate of Arts degree, and they did give me credit for some of the classes I took. So that shortened my 4 years to 2.5. I finished my degree in 2.5 years. But I was highly motivated. I wanted doors to open up for me. I did not want dead-end jobs. And I was very happy with my choice. I was enjoying college life, and that's why I'm pursuing a master's degree, because I enjoyed so much. I knew that it would offer me more opportunities in my life. Even at my age, I think it would be good for me.
So what further questions would you like to answer tonight?
I think that's it.
You covered all the bases?
She just wanted us to talk about, I did not say that part, how most people would pick their colleges. I guess my college picked me. Because when they came to recruit,
Now, as I see it, this inspiration happened in you when the recruiter recruited you, but once they had you signed up, would you say you were kind of like forgotten about? And the guy that interviewed you didn't even remember you when you met him again?
yeah, because he went all over China.
So basically, it's your inspiration, not them. That's in you.
No, the recruiter did not inspire me. It just brought that dream.
So it's your
Was
dream.
buried. My dream never died. I just realized that.
So that's what we see happening here. It's your dream coming alive.
Yes.
Right. It's
That's
not.
what I'm saying, that even though I knew I wanted to pursue a graduate degree, I did not know which direction I was going to. In the beginning, I did say that. But it's always been my dream. I always wanted. If I can afford it, I'll go all the way to get a master's, to get a PhD. What's stopping me from that?
All right. So we've answered. Let's.
No, you can delete the last part because it has all been answered.
Everything on the questionnaire has been answered. Can you re-summarize the questions given to you?
I did not talk about that part. I thought it was so cute. How I started out by saying I'm a non-traditional student, and I would end my story by saying I guess I was never.
And you're still
traditional
still a non-traditional student.
Yeah. So I guess I was always a non-traditional student. Because I wanted to start it by saying that I am a non-traditional student, and in the end, when people learned that my undergrad, I was a non-traditional student because I was so much older than all the other people. But I don't like the part where you asked me how old I was. At every stage. I don't like that part. I like the part that I like people to know. I don't like people to know. Oh, how old was I when I did this? How was I when I did that? I didn't feel comfortable with that part.
Sorry. But I would like to point out that although you did not have a college education, after 10 years of working, you became supervisor of other secretaries. you became head of a department inspecting the health of restaurants. So you
Yeah,
became.
because I never gave up my education. I took night classes in every given thing that I could lay my hands on that's being offered in any government department, in the University of Macau, anywhere, any schooling, any community college.
Would you say?
Every single night I was in something. If I wasn't learning a language, I was learning computer software. And that people thought I was nuts. Everybody knew that I was always rushing off from work to go and take classes at night. Because I never gave up my dream to go to class. I loved going to class. I love learning. If I can show you my certificates, it's certificate after certificate after certificate. I never quit learning. I enjoyed it a lot. It was one of the very self-fulfilling and satisfying thing I ever did in my life. Because I felt that I now have the knowledge, I now have the power to do more, to be more. And I want to impact that same feeling, same empowerment to other kids. And how can you do that? By inspiring them. Motivate and inspire. You can be better. Why don't you be it? That's how I see it.
Now, would you say your advancement in your working career was a result of your extreme devotion and hard work at the positions, or the
Yes.
certificates, or both combination
It's
of
a
both?
combination because I was very driven. And people recognized me. One of my boss actually took a class with me, a management class with me. And that was the boss that offered me to train 2 other junior secretaries in the Department of Finance. He was the boss of finance. We were working with all the lawyers and we were typing all the proposal of new laws. It was a really good job. I worked for the undersecretary of statistics at one time. And then I worked for the foundation, University Foundation of Macau. And he's the boss. He runs the university. It was one of the professors that sexually harassed me that I quit my job.
Oh, the one that went to class with you?
No, it's a different professor. It's because I was sexually harassed by one of the professors at university that worked with my boss, who was the president of the university. So my boss did not want to, because they were good friends, and I complained about it. And he couldn't really scold his friend to lay his fingers off me. So I quit. I quit when he went to Portugal on the trip. My classmate had asked me, "Hey, I just got promoted to be director of finance. Why don't you come over and be my secretary?" I said, "How much are you paying me?" Because I cannot leave a job that's so well paid for something that's not paying me anything. So he offered me a higher paying job. That's why in the end I got really good. My mom said to me, "Why are you leaving your well-paid jobs to go to the unknown, to start all over again?" I said, "Because it's my lifelong dream. I wanted it super bad. The money that wasn't doing me any happiness. I was not happy. It's meaningless if you're doing stuff you don't enjoy. And that's the whole thing. You have to do something you enjoy. Like right now where I work, I enjoy it. It brings meaning. You have to do stuff you enjoy. Like you told me. Hey, if you're going to pursue something, study something you enjoy. I enjoy this. I want to do it. When I read the syllabus of the philosophy, I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was very dull and boring. Who wants to read about dead people? How does it apply to us? And I'm not philosophical. It's great for Anthony. I'm not philosophical. Great for Svetlana. You know. And this was open, so I did this. I took this class.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Riley.
You cannot put all that in. It's going to be like a 2-hour thing.
Okay.
I don't want to make a documentary of my life. So many stories to tell.
Let's start with the pirates of your great-grandfather.
Oh my gosh, Stephen! At Rutherford, the kids are still talking about how my grandfather was kidnapped by pirates.
And that all started from one demonstration you did at Rutherford, right?
Yes, but it's word of mouth. Every child knew that story. Mrs. Riley's grandfather was kidnapped by pirates, and they were real. It's funny. And how her grandmother was carried across the border from China to Macau in a basket, in a bamboo basket. She was so tiny. She was 12, but she probably looked like a 7-year-old child. She was so tiny.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Riley. It was quite an adventurous story.
Oh, I didn't know you think so highly of me that I'm so animated.
All right, I'm going to click off button here.